And this dowry could be of any value which is agreed by them two. The father does not enter here. The father just sticks out of this. It does not concern him. The dowry is between the husband and the wife, not any of the woman's family or the family of the husband. Between them two only. If she says, I want 1 cent, he gives her 1 cent. If she wants $10,000, he gives her $10,000 if he agrees to it. And she agrees to that. وَآتُوا النِّسَاءَ صَدُقَاتِهِنَّ نِحْلَةً. And give the dowry to the woman of whom you are going to marry with good heart. So if you agree on something, that which you have agreed on, it becomes to whom? To the husband, to the wife, or to the guardian. It becomes solely her exclusive property and no one can touch her money. And this dowry does not have to be money. As Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, marry even if you're given dowry that which is equal to an iron ring. We know Abdurrahman ibn Auf, when he married, he gave gold equal to that of a date stone, the weight of a date stone. He gave in dowry gold equal to that. And another narration, it's mentioned that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam married Safiya bint Huyay, who was the head mistress of the ladies of the Jewish tribes of Bani Nadir and Qurayza. He set her free and her dowry was her freedom. So it's not restricted to wealth. It could be other things. And a great hadith, when a lady came to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and dedicated herself to him for marriage. She was interested in marrying him. She was in front of him and he was there in front of her. A period elapsed and Muhammad kept silent sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A companion was next to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said to Muhammad sallallahu, "Oh Muhammad, if you have no interest in her, marry her to me. Marry her to me." He looked at him and said, "What can you afford of dowry? What can you give her?" He said, "All I have is this waistcloth, then a sarong, the loincloth. That's all I have." He said to him, "If you give her that, you have nothing to wear. Go and find yourself anything, even if it is an iron ring." Even if it is an iron ring. In subhanAllah, look at this hadith. It's in Bukhari and Muslim. This man's got nothing but that waistcloth. He did not ask him, "What do you do for a living? How much do you own? What's your position?" No. He was a Muslim, a righteous man, and that's all that bothered Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the man went searching for something to give her as dowry. He couldn't find anything. So he came back and said, "Oh Muhammad, I cannot find anything." So what did he say to him? "How much do you memorize of the Quran? Or do you memorize anything of the Quran?" The man said, "Yes, I memorized such and such," and he named him the surah that he has memorized, and he said to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "I have married you to her with that which you memorized from the Quran." How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? Which man today, which guardian today would accept this? Which guardian? Even if it's not $50,000, it's 100. Seriously, it's sad. And we know that the barakah, the blessing in the marriage is that when the dowry is lesser. The more lesser the dowry, the more blessing there is in marriage. You are not buying a girl here. You are taking a girl into your responsibility to love her, to care for her as a companion. It's not a lady she's not a merchandise who is bought. So you who are guardians, be very careful. There is something in Islam called a shi'ar, whereby somebody marries his daughter to somebody else and the latter marries his daughter to the former without any dowry. In other words, it's planned. You got Ahmad, for example, he's got a daughter, and you got Muhammad, he's got a daughter, and they both have sons. This is a better example so you can understand it. They both have sons. Ahmad says, "I'll give my daughter to your son." Muhammad says, "I'll give my daughter to your son," without any dowry. It's like an exchange. This is haram in Islam. This is haram. A marriage without dowry is an invalid marriage. What do you do in a situation when you are interested in a lady? Two suitors are interested in one lady. What do we do here? You know a person is seeking a hand in marriage. Are you allowed just to jump in? You see, mashallah, she's righteous, she's gorgeous, she's everything. She's being looked at the same time. Are you allowed to interrupt this person? Are you allowed to interrupt? It is haram to interrupt this person. In other words, a man is seeking a hand in marriage. They're still talking about yes, no, whatever. A man sees this lady and becomes interested in this lady. He is not allowed to interfere in this until she rejects or he rejects. If either party reject, you can enter. If they're still talking about the situation, you abstain. You're not even allowed to mention you are interested in it. Only in one condition. When you know that this person who has asked for her hand, he's a bad man. He doesn't pray, for example. Or he prays, but he drinks alcohol, he commits major sins. Here you are allowed to interfere because you want for her the best. And you know that if this person takes her, he might destroy her. So in this situation, you are allowed to interfere and ask her hand in marriage if you will. As for the last one for tonight, inshallah ta'ala, a marriage is not accepted only with a guardian. In other words, there are a lot of ladies out there today. A story came to me just recently where a lady got married with no guardian. What happened was a young man was interested in this young girl. Both of them got together. They said, look, let us do it lawfully, get married lawfully. So they said, all right. The young man said, I'll get my sheikh, and he wasn't a sheikh, he was only another student of knowledge, and I'll get 2 witnesses, and he'll write a contract. So this young fella went and got 2 witnesses, got a student of knowledge, no guardian, no dowry, no conditions, just a contract due to the ignorance of the matter, and he married her like that. Is this a valid marriage? Absolutely not. First of all, there was a lot of faults in it. No dowry, no guardian. The hadith does mention that no contract marriage is valid without a guardian. He mentioned this 3 times. So we've got to understand that we cannot marry each other just because we want to get married. We've got to make sure that all marriages go through a guardian and that a sheikh gets informed and he is the one that does it for you under Islamic regulations, rulings, and that is the more purified way and the only way, and this is the safe way, inshallah, out of this. Next week, inshallah ta'ala, we'll have part 2 of marriage, inshallah, and that will be next week. If a righteous man seeking the hand of a lady goes to the guardian of that lady and says, look, I'm interested in your daughter, and the guardian finds a fault in him, not an Islamic fault, just a fault that he does not like. Maybe he's not a doctor, maybe he's not a professor, maybe he doesn't own a house on the beach. For this reason he might say this person is faulty. He's got a defect in him. He's got a defect. So, and this is a common thing that's happening today. So I'm not going to allow him to take my daughter. If this continues to happen to his daughter, the guardianship of that man is released, taken away from him, and given to someone else. You with me? The guardianship gets taken away from him and gets given to someone else because he has no right to prevent his daughter from marrying a righteous man. So it gets studied and researched and analyzed by a sheikh, and he will judge on his situation. But he is not allowed to say no if there's a righteous man seeking the hand of his daughter or this or the person